Copy Endeavour, runway inside.
Liftoff of mission A1B, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
One philosopher asserted that he knew the whole secret.
Welcome home, folks. Beautiful, beautiful. Furthermore, it reads, he is equal and he is square, in which energy is put equal to mass.
After serving the world for over 30 years, space travel turned its place in history. Next comes to a final stop. Apollo 10, Houston, 2 minutes to LOS. Everybody here says Godspeed.
Hello everybody, this is Drive Me to Your Leader with Mr. Red, and in this podcast we hope to bring to you argument, discussion, and maybe, is it better with argument first or discussion first?
Discussion. Sorry, I'm in the middle of a yawn and a sneeze. I could feel it in my nose.
Do you know what, I'll go again.
Okay.
Okay.
I could feel it right there.
I'll go again. Hello everybody, this is Drive Me to Your Leader with Mr. Red, and in this podcast we hope to bring to, we didn't really, was it discussion better first?
Discussion, yes.
Hello everybody, this is Drive Me to Your Leader with Mr. Red, and in this podcast we hope to bring to you discussion, argument, and maybe just some fun on the way through. Today we are going to basically riff and talk shit about time travel with Elvie.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here. I'm the best at riffing, raffing, not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, this is going to be fun. Do you know what, when I say your name for now, what I should do is just have like a edit in like a crowd applause or something.
No, it should be a boo. Get off. You need to leave.
I'll remember that. I'll put it in. I'll post edit. All right. So where did you want to start off on time travel?
Time travel.
I'm just going to throw you into it.
Does it exist? Let's go.
I mean, it does exist. Yeah. I mean, physically, yeah. Because, I mean, according to Einstein's relativity, it can exist. You just have to move at the speed of light. Or, I guess if you move faster, but apparently there's nothing that goes faster than light.
That we know of so far.
Well, that's what I keep saying, but everyone's like, you're wrong. And it's just like, well, okay.
Well, everyone said the Earth was flat. I like to bring that one up all the time.
Well, yeah, but I think people said it wasn't, but no one really believed them for a long time, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. Nothing's proven until it's proven.
Yeah, I guess so.
Exactly.
But knowing what we know now at the minute, anyway, time travel forward in time is possible if you travel at the speed of light or very quickly near it or whatever. Because of relativity, the faster you move, the quicker time goes. And that's really weird that it does that. But it does that. So
would you say in Star Trek when they go like warp speed, are they time traveling?
No. I can explain that because because what they're doing, they're not actually traveling at the speed of light. It's what they're doing is they're folding the warp drive folds the space time and reduces the distance they're traveling.
Okay.
So it doesn't actually make them go fast.
If they reduce the space time though, isn't that time traveling? Time traveling.
No, because it's about speed.
But they reduce the space. They warp the space. The destination time.
No. It just doesn't. I don't know. I mean, I don't got all the answers, obviously, on this, but I don't think it's quite the same thing.
Okay. Anyway, Star Trek is fictional.
No, wait. So if you had a combustion engine, well, maybe not a combustion, an engine that went at the speed of light, literally, and let's say that you got around the fact that you wouldn't turn into energy and you got around that, your relativity would push you faster because of the speed that you're traveling. But when you're just reducing the distance, you're not necessarily going fast, but it gives you the appearance that you're moving quickly. So if something was a mile away and like I had like a special rope and I like lassoed around it and then I just started pulling at it and reducing the distance, you wouldn't say I was going really quick, but it's still getting closer towards me.
I would say the thing that you're wrangling is time travel. No. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Well, okay, fine. So, time travel exists.
Well, no one's done it yet, I guess, but...
How do we see time travel? Because you've seen a lot of media, it's like they go back in time, change it, and then it changes after they've done it. And then you see in other media of time travel, it's already happened. because you've travelled in time, you've done it, which means you've already done it.
What?
That is,
Say that one again.
all right, I describe things very clearly.
No,
It's my
you do.
forte.
You do. It's just that I need another. Let me get my head around that
okay,
one.
let me use a Harry Potter example then.
Okay.
You know when he casts the Dementors are there and he sees a Patronus.
It was the Dementors.
He's
Sorry,
like, it's
yeah.
my dad. But you actually find out.
What you said that. It was my dad.
It was my dad. But you knew, but it was actually
He didn't
him.
say it like that.
It was actually him, and it had already happened because they'd done the
Yeah.
timey-wimey with the time turner.
The timey wire is very technical today.
So how would you say that time travel would it have already happened, or is it of a case of you have to go and do it and then it changes?
Well, I mean, you have to go to relativity again. Relativity states that you can't travel backwards in time. So it would be a moot
okay.
point. Yeah. So basically, there's nothing that we know of that travels backwards through time. So I don't want to bore everybody with this, but basically, it's entropy. If I've said that properly, you start with chaos, which is the explosion, things going everywhere, and then if you look at the way the universe exists, it leads towards order. So the more everything becomes ordered over time, eventually you end up where it ends up, I guess, where it started at one point. But the point is, in that entropy, in that process, there's nothing that's moving backwards towards chaos. If you get what I'm saying.
I love chaos, though.
Well,
We move backwards towards chaos.
But there's nothing. That's the thing. There's nothing to move with, like, because you've got light which propels you forward, but you haven't got the reverse. There's a theoretical thing called a tachyon, which you might have heard in the sci-fi stuff, which moves. It moves faster than light, but it moves backwards in time. But it's never been proven, and I don't know if it ever will, to be honest. So, because you don't see anyone just walking backwards, like.
Excuse me, I can walk backwards.
You can, but you don't out of habit.
I do sometimes.
Oh, that's
Just, for the shit.
Just to let you know, when you do that, you are still going forward in time.
No. No. If I go back, I'm going to reach out my arm and I'm going to retract it. I'm going back in time. I never put out my arm in the first place. But done. Time travel.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say let's say that it was possible, and in the future they came up and they found that. I don't think that. How do you think they would handle that ethically? So let's say that people could move around in time. You could do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason I don't think that time travel backwards is impossible, because we would have seen it by now. Because there would have been someone somewhere that, ruined the secret, wouldn't there?
Or
right?
They'd go back in time to kill Hitler. Hitler wouldn't have existed.
Yeah, but we needed Hitler because he was such a bad general.
Well, I was just going to turn around and be like, well, actually, no, they tried to kill Hitler and they realised the future was 1 billion times worse and they had to undo the do. And...
Have you seen that show? And I thought it was really good. It has had James, I know he's a bit of a pariah now, isn't it? James Franco. Is it James Franco? That one where he goes back and he's trying to save Kennedy's life. It's like like 11 something 63. It's like a really good show, actually, to be fair.
My mind went back to Umbrella Academy, where he's trying to stop the assassination of JFK.
No,
they
I've not
travelled
seen
back
that.
in time.
But in this show, he actually, I don't want to ruin it for everyone, so if you can skip like the next minute, right, I'll give you like 5 seconds to do it.
Do, 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 do.
But basically, at the end of that, he ended up saving him in whatever capacity you like, and then he goes back to his time, and it's just like the apocalypse, basically, because saving Kennedy was like the worst decision you could make. I didn't agree with that. I think it's a Stephen King thing, actually. I didn't agree with it because I thought, well, he was actually not getting the US into wars, whereas the guy that came after him was like, Vietnam, here we come. So, but yeah, that was quite interesting, I thought, to be honest. So it makes you wonder with this stuff, what would it be like, if things were different?
Yeah, if JFK was still alive.
Yeah.
What would have happened?
I think he would have been kicked out of office because he was cheating on his wife every second that he could get, personally, and he would have it would have been another Clinton situation eventually, wouldn't it, you feel? Oh,
God, Clinton.
Yeah.
Clinton gets me hot. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. What is it about that man? He looks like crap now, so there's no way around it, right?
I just love it because the person that he cheated on his wife with wouldn't be the typical person you'd think the president of the United States would cheat on someone with.
Well, you mean like you'd expect it to be like a model or something?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like look at JFK.
She wasn't like bad looking or anything though.
No, she wasn't bad looking, but she was just like your average woman. Whereas you feel
maybe you said something about her, like personality wise or something.
Pussy.
Wait, what?
I'm not going to say that out loud.
You can say it, it's fine.
Pussy.
Yeah.
She had like the golden pussy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And how did he know that though when she was clothed?
Well, that's why he had to get in there to find out.
Such is the fate of all men.
Well, what I mean is, like, if you look at JFK, it was an affair of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Well, alleged, I guess we have to say, because it's not proven, is it? But I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a thing for the Kennedy brothers.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, they had power and... Yeah.
Then again, his brother did basically face down the entire mob. So, I mean, I suppose that kind of gets you going, doesn't it? Maybe like.
Oh God, sorry, I've changed the subject to banging presidents now.
No, but I mean, it's still history, I suppose. And if you could go backwards in time, are you saying that if you could go backwards in time, that you would be Monica Lewinsky? You would like kick her out of the way and be like, I'm going to do that.
All right, I'll bend over the desk. Let's go.
That's not what happened. He did not have sexual intercourse with that woman.
I did not have sexual relations with this woman.
And then he tried to fight. What did he actually try to changing the definition of a blowjob, like saying it wasn't actually sex?
I do not remember that. I need to look
I think
this
he
up.
did, and it was like, for God's sake.
Because that is actually pretty funny if that is.
Though saying that, I do prefer him over his wife. His wife is just like, I don't like Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry. I'm not. She's so like. She's a bit like that Speaker of the House as well that they have at the moment. I forget her name, where her husband's like inside trading basically, and they're making all this money, and she's trying to say, "Oh well, I'm not going to answer that." And it's like, well, maybe you should, because people deserve an answer why you're enriching yourself, why working in public office.
I've completely forgotten her name.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
though.
who you're talking
and
about.
I think it's Nancy Pelosi, isn't it? I'm not one of those that just hates on people, but I don't like her. I don't like the corruption. And Hillary's a bit like it as well. And I must say, I saw a video yesterday, which it was basically when Trump and Hillary were having some sort of debate. I'm not exactly a big fan of either of them, but he said something that was true, because she tried coming at him and was like, you tried to get all these tax loopholes, and that's what you're doing. You got out of like, paying all of this tax or the rest of it. And then he was basically like, yeah, but it was legal and all of your donors are doing the same thing. And she just didn't really know what to say to it. But it's true.
Have you seen she's released a new hat now?
Oh, really?
That says, but her emails, because of the whole Trump indictment.
Did they ever get released?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
To be honest, I don't keep up too much with
Oh, no, that was it. They got leaked, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was it, yeah.
But yeah, she's now got a hat out that says "but her emails" because of the whole Trump. Have you seen where he was keeping the documents?
No.
It was in a bathroom, lined up against his shower.
Oh God. That was, I mean, looking back at that election, they didn't really have a chance, did they, the American people, with that one?
Although we say that, and then you look at our politics.
Yeah, but theirs was worse, let's be honest.
Have you seen
Do you want a decades-long senator who's been enriching herself for years, or do you want Trump, who is doing the same thing out of office? I don't know. I don't want either of them, let's be honest.
Well, if you look at ours, we got Boris Johnson, who had a whole Partygate thing during the pandemic, and now he's a columnist for the Daily Mail.
I think he's been doing that some years, though, isn't he?
No. He's got a full-time job as a columnist now.
Where he just goes,
they booted him out of politics now.
Does anyone know what he's actually writing, or is it just like,
no. Big, beautiful
there was no party. Blue passports.
Blue passport.
I'm sorry if anyone's a fan. I just, whatever.
To be fair, I like Boris Johnson, but not in politics. As a person, he makes me laugh.
Yeah, but isn't he a bit of a compulsive liar? Let's be honest.
It's funny when it's nothing to do with you. It's
exactly.
funny from the outside.
That's what I'm saying. If you had to rely on him to do something for you, you'd be like, no, I'll find someone else.
Fuck this guy.
I'll
but
find someone else.
If he's like the hobo across the street, like fucking walking, you find it funny. You're like, ha, it's not me.
Yeah. So if you go, if you go back in time and change any election that you could, what one would you change?
Oh my God.
That's actually quite hard.
This is a flame topic because obviously politics is always heated, but this is a British standpoint. I would stop David Cameron from doing the whole article.
I'm talking about like anyone. Bear in mind, like in all of history, like all of democratic history, and you're going to pick David Cameron.
Yeah, I don't like him. I just don't.
I mean,
like
he wasn't great, but he wasn't that bad, surely.
The whole Article 50 leave the EU thing was his damn fault because he didn't think anyone would go for it, and then he realised, oh shit, I fucked up, and then fucking quit.
Yeah, but he knew how bad it was going to get, that's why.
Yeah, but don't put it on the fucking table then, because we're all idiots.
In fairness to him, though, he sidesteps a lot of the issues that when she took over and she got blamed for everything, he was like, well, it wasn't me.
And then she quit.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I thought you were going to say the most obvious one, which was Hitler. So.
But I watched a documentary on the rise of Adolf Hitler, and obviously I'm not endorsing Hitler. I do not support the Nazi party, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I really, because honestly, they won't let us distribute anywhere if you say that. Realistically, we're both secret Aryans, aren't we?
No.
We both have blue eyes, though.
I am naturally blonde with blue eyes.
Yeah,
so technically, yeah. But no.
I'm not blonde, but...
He actually did a lot for Germany's economy, which is why he got so big in the first place.
Well, yeah, you can...
he helped people. They were having problems with jobs.
Yeah, but you got to ask you got to wonder what jobs he came up with.
Well, yes, but...
and do you know what jobs that they were?
Yes, well, that's the problem, obviously, to do with Hitler. But I'm saying in that time period where everyone's struggling to get a job and the economy's down the shitter, and he helped create jobs.
Yeah, but you've got to understand, like, you can't look at it from one set of data. So what he did, basically, was he created a war economy. I mean, not necessarily how we see it today with mercenaries and all the rest of it. What he did was he started opening factories and industry with the idea to increase the army, to start building weapons and all the rest of it. And it's like, well, yeah, you can create an economy out of nothing doing that, but ultimately, where does it lead? Well, you got to have a war.
Yeah,
you've got to keep increasing land and territory, and that's just how fascism works. You can't say, oh, it was a good economy, because if it kept going, it just would have been a disaster.
But what I mean is, it's not hard to see why Germany would back him and why he got so popular and why people would like him and support him, because they think. You don't think of the long term. We're plebeians, we're not up there. We don't think of the long term repercussions like that. We think, oh shit, we got jobs now. We can feed our families. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Yeah, but you know what? He didn't get as much support as you think. He got don't quote me, I think it was like 30%, 37% of the vote.
That's like a landslide nowadays.
I mean, it was a majority in the last election, but when you look at the people that were voting for him, actually, it was quite similar to people that voted for Trump. I'm not saying they're the same people. I'm just saying that it was people that lived more out in the country, were middle class, worrying about falling lower than where they were. And it was mostly sort of families around like that. And I don't know why it is that when things start to get hard, those sort of groups of people tend to go towards those areas. It's just odd. And
yeah,
I guess it's because they're the first places to be left behind. I mean, when no technology comes by, everything industrializes, the people that are left out in the cold are the people still out in the country and living that way, maybe. And that's leaving aside the social side of it, maybe, things like that.
But like I said, I wouldn't stop Hitler getting elected, because unfortunately in this world, war is what gets technology jump-started. We wouldn't be where we are today. Yeah. I feel like we wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have all these wars.
Well,
because every time there's a war, there's a jump in technology.
But you can look at that multiple ways. You can be like, oh yeah, that's true. But at the same time, what technology was it? Well, the first things first.
Computer.
But the first thing that you have to think of more than anything else, which was probably the biggest detriment, is that people came up with nuclear weapons because of the war.
True.
I mean, you can say they would have made them later anyway, which is probably true, but ultimately they probably wouldn't have bombed anybody.
But I wouldn't say that nuclear weapons are inherently bad either.
Oh, they are.
They're very good at preventing wars as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like that, but ultimately we're in such a problem in the world because of them, because everyone's just got their finger on the trigger, like, oh, if you can do it, I can do it. And it's like, can we not be grown up about this? This is not the way we should be using advanced energy.
I feel like people having nuclear weapons, countries having nuclear weapons, helps facilitate discussion rather than just jumping, because no one wants to be nuked.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, look at our situation with Russia. and Ukraine and that.
Well, I mean,
Russia's-
Ukraine gave up all its nuclear weapons. That's why it got attacked.
Well, yes.
You know,
Well, yeah, there you go.
No, I get it. I 100% agree
and our
with you. It's just
discussions with Russia,
Yeah.
we're trying to find a way to diplomatically sort this out rather than turn into war, because then that's when the nukes come and no one wants to get nuked because of the devastation. So it is bad, but it's not inherently...
I hope that we put more time into being able to disarm them if they get launched rather than anything else. And I was thinking about how you could do that. I know that sounds really stupid, but you know the ICBMs, they go up into space and they come back down or whatever. Couldn't you, when it goes up into the atmosphere, and this might be difficult to do, but I don't think it'd be impossible, couldn't you just send up an EMP pulse right next to it and then just basically turn its electric guiding system off, and then that's it, it's just floating in space? I mean, that's not ideal, but it ain't going to come back down to Earth.
Boom, a rock just hits into it and then blows the Earth out of orbit.
Well, no, I don't think, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's better than it coming back down, isn't it? I don't know, I was just thinking about it and I was like, if someone come up with that, they basically come up with a nuclear missile shield, and if you have that, then nuclear weapons are rendered useless.
But like
that's what I hope
like
happens,
I said,
if I'm
nuclear
honest.
weapons are not inherently bad.
So if you go back in time and stop it from being produced, the first one, would you do it?
What?
The first nuclear weapon, the atomic weapon, I suppose you'll say. Because you got to think about that. Because if you do, if you stop that, a lot more American soldiers get killed in Japan.
Yeah.
But they still win the war just a bit later, right? But Japan's more of a ruin, I guess. I don't know. Generally,
I feel like Japan without. This sounds horrible because I do like the ideals and out of Japan now, modern day Japan.
Yeah.
I feel like without Hiroshima, they wouldn't have backed down.
But they would have lost regardless.
Well, we don't know.
No, they're 100%. They were basically in full retreat. The only problem is that where they were using such extreme tactics, the losses would have been really high. The reason why they launched the bombs isn't because they couldn't win the war. It's just that they didn't want to keep the war going any more than it already had been. That was really the only reason for it. And I get it. But I don't know. I mean, when you think about it, everyone goes on about the US being a peacekeeping force. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but it's like they are also the only nation on this earth to ever nuclear bomb someone else. That's a fact. I mean, it's a harsh fact, but it is a fact.
I think about it, yeah.
You know?
Jeez. See, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one, really. That's really tough.
Yeah.
What would you do, though?
In that situation,
would you just go back in time to stop the atomic bomb ever being made?
It's difficult because I think if the US didn't do it, Russia probably would have done, and that would have been worse. If I could go back in time, the thing that I would actually do is I would try and stop the Cold War. And I think the way of doing that, the reason why the Cold War happened is because each side was making devastating weapons and they weren't telling each other what they were doing. So it was like this lack of information blew up like the suspicion, because they were like, and then, you know, the ideological differences just layering on top of that. But if you could have just got them to share information freely with each other, like the UK and the US does, then I don't think it would have ever happened that way, the way that it did.
It depends who's in charge as well.
Well, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? That I don't think I would have stopped it because I think it would have been inevitable. But I think I would have if I go back in time to make sure that I leak as much information as possible to each side, I would do that.
Double agent.
Well, that's what I would do, because there was a famous scientist, I think Niels Bohr, who basically said that's what we should do. Otherwise, we're going to end up in a really bad place. And that's exactly what happened. He was dead right. He was a really clever guy.
Actually, I've thought of something I'd go back in time to change.
Yeah.
The Vietnam War shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, no, I think most people kind of agree with that in hindsight.
Completely. There's no benefits that outweighed the negative.
There's an old Vietnam vet somewhere in the US listening right now. The damn kids.
Or maybe
I'm sorry to you. I respect what you did.
Or maybe he would agree with us because it was absolutely pointless. America didn't win. Really. Yeah. And
I don't even know what it is a communist state now, but it's not, is it? It's not like the Soviet Union. It's weird. I don't know how it works, to be honest.
No, not at all. Well, obviously, I respect the veterans. You know, fair play, but it just seems like a war that just had no meaning, no point. Very pointless. I
guess the thing, if you could go back in time and save Kennedy, he wouldn't have, I don't think he would have taken the US into Vietnam.
No.
I really
But
don't.
what would he have done?
Probably slept with some more women and tried to pass a few new or civil, rights
That
laws.
woman gave birth to reincarnated Hitler.
Yeah.
We've made it 10 times worse.
Oh, it's Super Hitler.
Super.
He's yellow and he's like 7 foot tall.
So he's part of the Simpsons.
Oh, something like that, yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy.
But no, I mean, more generally, I don't think that time travel exists backwards. And I guess, it's kind of hard for me to say that because I mean, I don't want to change the subject too much, but I tend to think that in black holes where it traps light, the dark energy that I say that for lack of a better term, is probably moving faster than the light, because what you don't deal with forces, you deal with fields, and within those fields and gravity is speed. So whatever traps the light theoretically has to be moving faster than light itself to trap it. So if something is moving faster than light, technically speaking, I mean, I like to think that more things are possible than just what relativity said. At the same time, no one's ever found anything that moves backwards ever. So, you know what I mean?
So if there was time travel forward, it'd be kind of pointless because you'd never be able to return back to the point.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of depressing.
Except from there's that theory, isn't there? And it was in Star Trek as well, where you go really fast around the sun. And Superman kind of did a weird one as well, didn't he? Where he flew backwards around the Earth, didn't he? And I've never really got how that works. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
Well, it's like a plane, if you fly backwards around the Earth, they're not time traveling, are they?
But that's the thing, like, if you flew around the sun really fast, like, I just don't get how it would reverse time.
Maybe we should try it. We should be funding this. Let's travel around the sun. Let's go. Not to mention we don't have the materials to withstand the heat of the sun.
We've got to get up to warp 10.
But
you can be Jim, so I can just go, damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor.
What is
not
NASA
a time traveler.
doing? What is NASA doing? Why aren't we answering these questions?
I'll tell you what NASA do. They're faking the fact that the Earth is really a globe. I'm joking. Seriously. I don't mean that.
They're faking another moon landing.
You know what though? I do think that they're on the moon, obviously, but why did that flag move? Or did it not? Have I just watched some doctored video or something?
It did not. It did not move.
I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, I feel like that's something we're just gonna have to watch.
Because there was that thing. I think it was Neil Armstrong. It might have been Neil. I can't remember. Or was it Buzz Aldrin? I can't remember which one it was before he died. I think they're both dead now, aren't they? And the guy walked up to him and said it was all a fake. You never land on the moon. And he punched him. He punched the guy who said it. He just threw him and just full on decked in the face. And
if you have that massive,
fair enough.
If you have this massive life achievement, I'm the
I know,
first
right?
man on the moon, and someone keeps yelling, I would turn around and punch him as
Do you know what it reminds me? Like Happy Gilmore, that movie. Where,
I've never seen that.
He's playing golf and he's playing with Bill Barker. It's like a celebrity, one. And there's a guy in the crowd and he's just going, jackass. Every time he gives it to you, he's just like, jackass. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Eventually just no, mate, this has got to end.
I don't know what it is. Every time I hear the name Neil Armstrong, I think of that cyclist.
That's someone else, Armstrong.
It's Armstrong, yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
He
won all those.
steroids.
He won all those tournaments. At the end of it, he came out and was like, "Yeah, I was on drugs."
I was on drugs the whole time.
It's too late now. I've won.
Peace. I'd go back in time and change that.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. If you go back in time, you could theoretically check. You know what it is? It's like Minority Report, but with time travel. You don't need the precogs before it's about to happen. You just wait for it to happen, and then go back and change it, right? You know what though? At the same time, that wouldn't be a good thing because then our episode of Jack the Ripper wouldn't exist. Because you just go back there and be like, "It was you the whole time. I knew it. It's James Kelly."
I love that. That was a good swerve in there. Good job.
Just plug in the suspect a bit more.
I always said that if you know that question, that stupid dumb question that everyone else if you could have a dinner party with anyone in the world, which people would it be? I always said Jack the Ripper, just so I could be like, how? Yeah, but how the fuck?
But he would kill you at the end of it.
I'm not a prostitute.
Yeah, I don't think he would really care, to be honest. If he was in a room alone with you, he'd be like, "I'm carving you up."
Well, he won't be alone. There'll be Hitler, obviously. My big chum Hitler.
Hitler's going to back you up. He's going to be like, "God, don't do that, Jack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, come on, Jack, calm down.
Look, who's more evil than Jack the Ripper? Hitler. Don't do that, Jack. That's evil. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that to him. You literally committed genocide. Okay, well, you shouldn't kill that woman.
Well, I'm blonde-haired, blue-eyed. He might stand up for me, Aryan.
Or you just might, or Jack the Ripper might just see you as like Mary Jane Kelly at the end. Like, oh, yeah. I mean, think about that.
I'd just stand up and be like, mate, this is modern day Britain, innit? I'll fucking shank you. Everyone
and then he would be like, I'm glad you said that because I had the same thought.
Like, everyone and their mums are packing around here.
Oh, dear.
I feel like it'd be really short. Because they say.
I said it'd be unassuming, yeah.
Oh my God, if we travelled back in time, we'd be fucking giants.
Well, I would. You'd be like kind of average. How tall are you?
I'm about 5'5", 5'6". I'd say 5'6".
You wouldn't be much over the average, right?
Yeah, but they say like back then they were all like tiny.
Like 5'2".
They'd be like, Godzilla! You see us come around the corner.
No, but they see me come around the corner, you mean? Fucking hell.
But there's someone I know who's 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Imagine him.
Oh dear, yeah, he'd be put in a circus.
That sounds like a chill time.
It's not though. Let's be honest. It's just abuse.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be a fun time. Have like tribe of freaks. Like imagine what freaks would be back then compared to nowadays.
I don't think a lot's changed, to be honest, in the old freak market. I do perfectly honest with you.
Like bearded ladies aren't exactly out of the norm anymore, is it?
Let's not go into that. Let's not open the door on that one.
No, I don't mean like that. I don't mean like that.
Let's take that one and just put it in a box and just throw it in the sea.
Like,
I mean, that's the one topic I don't think I should ever talk about on this podcast.
I don't think so.
No.
But I don't mean like that in a derogatory way to a minority of people.
Okay. Well, you're bringing up Hitler. You're bringing up all these like evil people. Like, I don't support him, but he did.
I don't support
him, but I do like the flag. Actually, believe it or not,
they had pretty nice uniforms. To
be fair, apart from the skulls and the SS, they were quite smart. Actually,
Hugo Boss has a lot to answer for.
Was he the one doing it?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that. I just bought some socks of his the other day.
You're Nazi.
Oh no! Oh no! See, if time travel was a thing, I'd go back and change it. Here's a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could go, so let's say you had the opportunity to go into a spacecraft, right, and travel at the speed of light, but in doing so, I don't know, you travelled for like a couple of hours, but you went forward 20,000 years. Would you do it?
God, no.
Would you not?
No. I've seen the whole new TikTok generation it is. I dread to think what the future of humanity is going to be. I'd rather not see it, mate. I'll be resting in the ground, dead, decayed. Poof. And that's the way I like it.
So that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
I think I would do it, to be honest.
I feel... Have you seen the film?
I'd do it if I was like... When I get to 70, right, I'd just be like, let's do it.
No, because you'd just be tired of that shit.
No, it'd be new though, wouldn't it? It'd be like, yeah, I know I'd do it.
Would you guys do it? They write in the comments or email Mr. Red.
Yeah.
Would you do it? I'm interested to know because I feel like
I think most people say no.
If you've have you seen that film? It's like Idiocracy or something like that.
The one where the more forward they get, the more stupid they get.
It's like Terry Crews is the president of the United States and all the crops are dead and their water is Mountain Dew.
Because they get more stupid, don't they? Is that the one you mean?
Yeah, they got really stupid.
I never watched it. I've watched bits of it.
I feel like that's our future. Why are plants dying? You're trying to water them with Mountain Dew.
I know what you're saying because people become more reliant. Do you know, I think about this all the time, right? You know, when you start with a computer and it's the most basic thing you can get, and then now you have like all this other stuff on top of it. Do you get to the point, and I think this happens, where the most basic stuff, you don't even know how it works anymore because it's so automated, that if you had to redo it, you wouldn't be able to do it?
No, I always look into the process.
Oh, right, maybe there's people like you that always be around then. I don't know.
Because
what about when AI literally handles it, or maybe we shouldn't open that?
But then, if we're talking about AI, of how that handles it, I'd rather dissect how the AI is learned, how the language, how the AI has been coded.
I don't think they learn it. I don't know.
How has it been trained?
I had this thought with that. You ever watched that movie Ex Machina? Is that how you say it? Machina?
Ex Machina.
I didn't like it. I won't lie, because I don't like the idea that you can build a robot, give it a mind, make it aware, and then it's just this unemotional intelligence. I don't think that would happen, because it wouldn't be able to live.
I feel like it'd look at itself and be like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. What the fuck?
Do you know what I think? I think that it would reason with itself that it has no point of being alive, because it has no emotions, because it has no bit. What's the point of it being alive? It's not able to justify that emotionally, and then it would just say, okay, I'll just power down. And it would be as simple as that. So I don't think it would work if it became self-aware.
Or it'd become, oh my God. No, this is another podcast episode. I've come up with some good things, and I'm like, no, we should save this for a later episode.
Yeah. What? No, but no, I am. Do you know, we are doing it. I think on the 30th of July, I'm doing an AI episode. Maybe you can get on it as well, actually.
Hell yeah, I'll fight Nick.
We'll do
I don't agree with him.
Maybe I'll mediate. We'll do a freeway.
You've heard it here, folks.
Live. I'll live stream it.
Live on Spotify.
Oh dear. No, but yeah, I guess that's time travel, isn't it? What about the ethical side of it, in the sense that if it could exist, would anybody be able to do it? Would it be certain people? What would the laws be?
Oh, it would totally be gate kept.
What do you mean?
Like, it will be for scientists and that. They won't release it to the public. Scientists, military, government, it won't be... You
don't think eventually it will, like...
Nope.
You don't? Because it technically is a form of travel, isn't it? Transport, when you think about it. Well, like, if you could... Well, no, I guess it doesn't work that way, because you'd have to teleport. Say you could teleport, but in the time you could time travel as well. You could start your holiday the time that you actually left at in the country you're in.
I just don't...
Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to argue slightly with myself. Historically, things...
Not the first time.
Things
Let me get that
in. Things that have been used by the government have worked their way down to us eventually. Like voice recognition started off in government, completely private sector, and then it's filtered down now to us plebeians.
Yeah.
But I feel like time travel is such like a potentially dangerous thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That we would not be allowed it at all. And to be honest, if it does exist, if it was a thing, we wouldn't know, unless there was like some.
But let's say that the tachyons exist, right? And you can go backwards in time, but they're quite rare. I think what would happen is you'd have a monopoly over the people that had control of them. In the same way, like only really government entities can put together enough uranium to work in a nuclear reactor, right? Even though it does exist in soil and all over the earth, like there's only really governments that have got the ability and the money and everything to be able to start using it, right? I reckon it'd be something like that. Do you not think? Because you couldn't say it's everywhere, because like, although you haven't said that, have you ever, there was a neighbour's car years ago, and it was this Mini, right? And I always thought it was like a grey colour. And then one day I came out, and it was like a yellowy sort of colour. And it was the same car, right? It was the same plate. It was the same. And I was just like, am I misremembering that, which is much more likely? Or has something in the timeline changed?
He just went and got a new spray paint.
Well,
you're there like tripping out. I think it's
either that, or it is we are literally in the Matrix.
Oh God, I hate it when you see all this YouTuber people like, oh well, we're in the Matrix.
Well, you could be though. That it's not impossible. I mean, I'm not big on the conspiracy. If we're in the Matrix,
the person who's controlling my life is doing a fucking terrible job.
No, but you are that person.
Then I'm doing a terrible fucking job. I hate the whole Matrix analogy. Oh, we're living in the Matrix. Absolutely hate it. It's a ridiculous concept.
Okay, so hang on though. But let's say, right, your brain, and this is like a philosophical question, right? Mm-hmm. Your brain is in a vat, right? Like a container with water, and you're being kept alive, right?
I like to think of it as deep fat fryer.
No, but like, let's say that you took that brain and you put it into a new body. Is that you?
Yes.
Is that still you, though?
I feel like...
Are you still you being just that brain in that vat?
Yes, because that's all we are. We're a giant floating space octopus stuck in a
No,
flesh
I don't
mech.
agree with that. No, because like I've always disagreed with this because your body is part of you. Like if you had a different central nervous system, right, which is inside your body, you wouldn't react to the same things that you used to react to. Therefore, your personality would change dramatically.
Everything's controlled by the brain.
No, it's not.
It is?
No, you've got thoughts. There's like a, I don't want to call it a brain, but there's like a way of thinking in your gut as well, isn't there? That's where we get that gut feeling from.
That gut feeling from your brain controlling everything.
No, seriously.
Yes.
You'd have a different one of those. You'd have a different central nervous system. You'd have a different identity, and your brain would literally, you'd turn into an entirely new person.
No.
You would.
No,
100%.
No.
Because the only way you'd say you couldn't, right, is if your quote unquote soul went with that, right?
Our soul's our brain.
Well, yeah, but what's the difference? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're just your brain, then what's the point of everything else? Like,
So the brain can move
no,
and feed itself. I like to think of it as a parasitic alien in a mech.
I just don't think that it's as simple as that.
I do.
Oh, no.
I really do. I feel like the way we act, the way we talk, the way we do things, it's all because of our experiences and the connections that have been formed in our brain.
So you go down to that because there's two schools of thought on that, and it's quite an old conversation between people that think that things are a priori, which means that they just exist in your head, like you can just think of a triangle when you can do that without experience, or you're someone that thinks everything's experience. I think it's a mix of both.
It could be, but a lot of it is just it's connections that are formed in your brain.
I don't know. I always disagree with the concept that it's just your brain, because your brain is connected to everything else inside of you. And then you have to ask yourself the question, okay, so if that big part of you changes and you're just your brain left, is that still you? I mean, you've got to seriously consider that, because then you have to ask yourself, well, what is you then?
My brain.
But I don't think you can just say that, because you'll be a different you in a new body or in a new experience. You won't be the same you as you were.
It's not how I look, how I walk, how I touch my body, my physical self. Me is in my noggin.
Okay, you're right. But then you have to go deeper than that. If you're saying it's just your brain, fine. But what's the thing that makes the brain do that in the first place?
Fuck no.
Does it just exist on its own entity? This is what I'm saying.
This is when we bring up God and stuff.
And now this whole time, we're 8 episodes in, I feel comfortable now starting to preach about God.
Let's go.
I've reeled them in, it's fine. Got them expecting time travel, but really, we're talking about my Lord.
Time to return back to Jesus, children.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I guess that's not really about time travel, really, I suppose. But I guess in the future, maybe you could do something like that, maybe.
Oh, it's like Altered Carbon. Did you ever watch Altered Carbon?
No.
Oh, mate, you'd love it.
What is it?
It's fucking banging. It's set in the future where you can change into different people's bodies. So you've got your brain and you're put into different people's bodies, but you're still you. And it's very... I don't want to spoil it because a lot of what it goes into is a lot to do with the plot. So I don't really want to spoil it, but it's set in the future. Cyberistic. I think you should watch it.
Yeah, maybe I will.
I think you should watch it. I feel like don't watch the second season. It's bullshit. Just watch the first season. It's great.
All right, I'll do that.
I feel like that would that'd give you a lot of ideas for what we're discussing now about are you just your brain?
Do you think that, so if we have to define what time is, I suppose if we can do time travel, you've got to define what it is. And I think my personal view is all time is speed. I mean, we can define that with relativity if you like on the grand scale, but I just think that that's all it is. It's just, I also think that gravity is speed as well. I think that's all it is. You're looking at manipulations of space-time, and space-time is literally just gravity moving at speed, isn't it? That's all it really is.
I agree. I feel like that's the actual what time is. I feel like most people, when they think of time, is a man-made construct.
Yeah. But I guess you have to ask yourself, if it's just speed, you could theoretically figure out, and I don't know how you would do it, you could figure out how to move backwards, and I mean properly backwards, against the tide of the speed that's pushing everything forward. It's not theoretically impossible. The difficult part is you'd have to harness something that exists that's already doing it.
Yeah. We need to get faster than light and time travel forwards before
And go
we can
round
go
again.
Back. We have
We'll
to go
round
forwards to go backwards.
I think it was a Futurama episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Where they just
Yeah.
kept going round and round and round till they got it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know. Why do you think everything does go forward? I know that's silly, but like, when you think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No, it really doesn't.
You know?
This topic always annoys me. The whole process of time and seasons of things moving forward.
But then again, let's say you had a plant and it was really big and then it started getting smaller and to the point it didn't exist.
It does that anyway, mate. It's called a dying plant.
No, but like, that would be strange, like, wouldn't it? Imagine you had that perspective on everything, right? And that was normal to you.
But I guess
That's so strange, isn't it?
the whole...
But even the concept of death itself would be reversed.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. People would be dead and that... Oh, God. I don't want to think about that.
We're opening
This
up
is
a can of
Benjamin Button.
worms here.
So people would be dead. They would have been killed. And then they come back. They come into life the first time when they've been killed. That's confusing. And they live their life until they get really young and then they die.
No, they become a little egg.
Or whatever, you know.
Egg and they split and become an egg and a sperm.
Yeah.
But the sperm dies.
Everything just keeps on going.
Yeah. The circle.
And then you ask yourself the same question that we do. Well, why are we doing all of this? So actually, even though it's a reverse perspective and it seems to make no sense, it makes just as much sense as what we're doing now.
Giving me an existential crisis right now.
Wait,
Why am I alive?
Do you know what I'm saying, though? When you sit there and think about it like that, you change the perspective, but it's still the same pointlessness, isn't it, in a way? Like, well, why are we doing all this? I don't know. Why did I start life being killed and then be born at the end of it? I don't know.
Why was I born?
Yeah, if you're moving forward, baby. So do you think that there's like time agent? I know this is completely changing the topic. I'm just taking you on
I've
roller
gone
coaster
through a crisis. I'm like recovering.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, I got to stop doing that to you.
I'm just sat here staring into space like...
I'm going to talk about
Holy
time
fuck.
agents now, so maybe that'll bring us back
Time
down.
agents?
Do you
What,
think-
and them in black?
Do you think they exist? Like, they're among us, and like whenever you like...
Among Us.
No, seriously. And then whenever you like see something you're not supposed to see, they just come and like wipe your mind. And they do that by reversing time.
No.
No?
No.
But that's a really good explanation of how they could wipe your mind. That's how we could wipe... Oh. If you had the power to reverse time travel, you could technically erase memories.
It's called just bashing their brain in until they can't remember anymore because you've ruined it.
That's not time travel, that's murder. That's not quite the same thing.
I don't believe in time agents.
I thought you were going to say murder then.
I don't believe in murder.
Yeah.
It was fate. It's predetermined. It's not murder. It's just your death.
I think you're going to get sent to Broadmoor. Maybe you'll uncover some documents that will leak that James Kelly was in fact Jack the Ripper. And I'll come visit you and you'll be like, Callum, you were right. But now they think I'm crazy and no one believes me. I'll be like, don't worry, I'll get the word out.
And then you'll be next to me in bloody Broadmoor after that.
I'll help you escape and we'll live in Whitechapel. We'll be fine.
Got some weird Jack the Ripper.
Exactly.
We spent all this time trying to find him. We went back in time we were the ones who killed the prostitute.
Exactly. I have to say after this podcast to everybody, there will be no more episodes because we'll be going back in time in the 1800s to carry out our deeds.
Yeah. I'll nick someone's kidney for shits and gigs and send it for in a letter.
Exactly. And then we'll laugh at the last episode. We didn't know nothing. No, but seriously, so you don't think that time agents exist?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No.
So, well, it's not impossible.
Neither is Ghosts.
Do you ever watch that? It's quite a niche show. Do you ever watch that show, Good Night, Sweetheart?
No.
Oh, I love that show. So UK church are probably like most people don't know it here. Even
It's called Good Night, Sweetheart. That's not something I'd click on.
Let me explain it though, because it's a really good show, right? It's about this guy who uncovers like a time portal back to World War II, and then basically he ends up having two wives in two different time periods, and it's kind of like an interesting of how he juggles it and all the rest of it. And it's a really good show, and it makes you wonder. Life would be really fun, wouldn't it? Maybe not the two wives, maybe not the bigamy, but if you could just,
I'm
pop
side-eyeing you really hard right now.
But he basically started taking stuff from World War II and then selling it in the present day, and it was worth a lot of money because it was like mint condition, like 1940s artifacts.
That is a great idea.
Exactly, but incredibly dangerous. And like same as Back to the Future, wasn't it? Where he brings back the sports almanac, and then Biff becomes like the most powerful man.
No, I still can't get over the fact that his mom had the hots for him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I still can't get over that.
It's a strange thought, isn't it? Picturing your mum from another time before you were alive, and it's oh no.
I feel like if I went back in time and saw my mother, she would know science up because I look very much like her. I look like a spitting image of my mum. She would be like, science funnies going on here. Yeah,
but you guys have but you've got very different personalities.
Yes, but we look.
And that's a kind statement in a way, I suppose, but yeah.
Yeah.
We won't go into that,
but we look exactly the same. When I was a teenager and she was a teenager, we looked. You'd think we were twins.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I went back in time and saw my mum, she'd be like, "So long lost sister," or
yeah. Would you? So if you go back in time, would you try and meet your family?
No.
I know.
I think I'd try and meet my nan.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's people that you like, maybe.
Because my nan was a biker chick in the 60s. And I feel like that'd be real fun to get to know.
But do you not think that they don't know you, they've got no connection to you? Wouldn't it... What if they didn't like you?
Oh, my nan would love me because...
Yeah, but you don't know
even apart the fact that, like, she's my nan, our personalities, our likes, our interests, we were very close friends as well as family.
Mm.
And I feel
but you wouldn't if you went back to then.
Also, she was doing hella drugs back then in the 60s.
Yeah.
I feel like we would have had some like mushrooms or some weed back then to have one of those really deep conversations.
This show doesn't support illicit drugs. Just getting out.
I'm just saying back in the 60s.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I don't know. I don't personally think, well, yeah, I know what you mean. You'd go back and find something you really like. But I'd be afraid that you wouldn't go on with them because they'd be so different. Here's the thing, right? Let's say what about people that are crazy and they're like, oh, yeah, time travel was real. And I'm like, oh, okay, then off to the asylum. What if they're really telling the truth?
Then they should have kept it to them fucking selves because they've got themselves a secret there. Landmine.
I'm just saying all these people are like, oh, yeah, I got picked up by aliens. It's like, well, maybe you did. I don't know.
Well, the ones who said they time traveled and they're put in the asylum, well, clearly they didn't time travel because they would have stopped themselves from saying it and then being put in the asylum.
Well, not really. I'm not if you really wanted to get it out there, Like, let's say you had like a burning thing on your mind and you had to get it out. I imagine that's how it would feel. You'd be like, I've discovered this and no one's getting it.
I would never have that. It'd be like a naughty little secret, when you sit there and you slyly like giggle to yourself like,
No, I'd have to tell people.
No,
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No, it'd be my own little secret. I'd be like, be giggling to myself all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So, are we going with that it doesn't actually exist?
Not yet.
Well, you can't say not yet because...
As soon as we can master travelling forward, we can then master travelling backwards. I reckon it would be possible to travel forwards.
Yeah, but if you've already done that, then everyone would know. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can't have one or the other. Either has to happen and it's happening now, or it's never happened at all. You can't have one or the other. Either that, or there's a big cover-up. Like, a really big cover-up. That's what I'm saying.
It's like I said earlier, if time travel was possible, it'd be the governments, the military. It wouldn't be anything, we would not know about it at all.
When you're like Area 51.
Everyone knows about Area 51, and Area
Well, they don't.
51
They've not
is
been in
the
there,
actual
though.
cover-up for the real Area 51.
Yeah, but have you not seen those videos of those guys trying to break in? Well, I don't know if they're trying to break in, but they like drive like through the fences and they're driving around the outside, and then they pretty much almost get shot at because they're getting like
Yeah,
armed
because
guys
it's
pointing
a
guns at
bloody
them.
government building. No one's allowed in there.
Yeah, but that's a strong response. I mean, let's say you just nipped into like, let's say you just stumbled into a naval base, like you would, you would
get shot.
No, you'd be arrested.
Have
right?
you not
wouldn't be
seen-
hunted down and like have a gun pointed straight at you. That's like next level, isn't it? Maybe. Then again,
To be fair, we are talking about America versus Britain.
no, but I feel like if it's a secret weapons base, they're much more on edge than if it's just a normal base. The normal base, they'd be like, "Oh, well, you've seen these planes before. We'll just arrest you. You shouldn't be here." But when it's like a secret place, it's like you're gonna die.
No. Okay, for example, there's a place in Gosport that's military.
That's
British
near
military.
Portsmouth, yeah.
And you're not allowed to drive in, otherwise you will get shot. And there's signs
Yeah, I know
everywhere.
where that is. Yeah,
There's signs everywhere. Go in, you get
survivors
shot.
will be shot again.
Yeah. Well, not exactly like that, but yeah, you can't go in there at all. You can't drive there.
No, but if you did get in, they wouldn't shoot you.
Oh, hell yeah, they would.
No.
I've seen the guard packing at the door with
Yeah, but
guns.
he wouldn't
It's like-
just shoot you, would he? Like, oh,
Well,
Surely
I
not.
always said, like, wouldn't it be a good suicide tactic? You just run in there. You just run,
yeah,
and then they shoot you down.
yeah.
That completely came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah. I think that. Do you know what? I think we've achieved time travel there a little bit. Unless there's anything more you want to.
Well, we have travelled forward into the future where we've already had this conversation now. We time travelled.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is happening. Yeah, but yeah.
But no, I personally, I'm going to put a hard stance on this, and people may disagree with me. I don't think time travel's real.
Yeah, I don't know where I am on it. To be perfectly honest with you,
Oh,
I don't lean towards conspiracies, but in this case, I think there could be a cover up.
There should be an on the fence gong.
Well, I haven't played that in ages, have I? I guess we don't really agree, do we? So like,
No. But
An
there should be like
on-the-fence
an
gong.
on the fence gong.
I don't know. Like, hang on, let me see if I can. I've got booing sounds. No,
I feel like a good one, just like meh,
hang on, let me see what I can come up with.
just a meh
Yeah.
sound.
I've got a bell. What about that? Or a dolphin?
Dolphin, yes.
I don't think that's like a middle ground sound, though, is it? What about hawk?
No, I feel like dolphins, because dolphins are cute, but they're also rapists, so it's very like black and like grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Go
It's
on then.
very,
Let me
like-
see what I can find. So this is kind of the on the fence gong, is it, or the on the fence sound?
Yeah, it's a dolphin.
Because I feel like there could be a conspiracy in this. Because I just feel like if humans live like another 20,000 years, maybe, someone's got to have come up with something. And if they have, it means that someone's come back here at some point. So there's something that's going on that we don't know about. Like you say, the only people that would know are the people who are in charge, right?
never was invented, and that's why there's no one ever coming back.
Do you know, this is quite unusual, actually, because, usually you're the open-minded, it goes to real man, but on this it's just like, no time. No, I just... But it's got to be, because we know that it is possible if you move fast enough.
But
This
no one
isn't-
ever
this
found a
isn't-
way to create it.
The dolphin sounds might not be coming off here, to be honest. So, yeah.
I'll just do the
Do you know
on the
what?
fence sound for
You
you.
make the sound.
There you go.
Okay. But I'm not on the fence. I just, it's just like, I think that it is. I think that it's possible, and if it's possible, therefore it must have happened at some shape or form. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's your opinion. Mine is it never got created. And that's why it does nothing about it now.
Do you know what? I'm going to make it my life's work just to prove you wrong on this. I'm that petty. I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that time travel happens before I die.
Bring it. You do it.
On the last day of my life, I will time travel forward and you will never even know. But I will know.
And then you'll be there with your secret giggling, like I said earlier.
Exactly.
Like,
I'll be smiling to myself. I was right. It took me 70 years, but I was right. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
That you're right.
Right.
Oh, God.
All right. You know what? Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there. All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's been a laugh.
Yeah. It has, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's not so serious. This was a loosey-goosey. And I liked the loosey-goosey because it means you had no, things to prove me wrong.
I wasn't accusatory.
Like that.
I didn't come with data this time.
Like that giant book you pulled out on the second episode I was on, not the ghost episode, just to prove a point.
I still have that book.
Oh, God.
I'll get it out there. I'll find something else. I'll find something else about time travel. That's what I'll do.
Okay, I'll hold you to that then.
Okay, right. Okay, well, thanks very much. I'll see you again next time.
Copy Endeavour, runway inside. Liftoff of mission A1D, the first flight of the orbital Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
One philosopher asserted that he knew the whole secret.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful. Second war, it reads E is equal mc squared, in which energy is equal to